Hi, my name is Mark Ninete. I am 46 and I am a communication specialist for the Fremont and Dodge County 911 Center. Prior to this dispatching jobs, I've never ever dispatched before. My background is in the medical field. I was an exercise therapist for a rehabilitation center in Hawaii. And then when I moved here, I worked for a brokerage and transportation company and was their vice president until I caught the owner of the company embezzling and sent him to prison. I was raised in Hawaii from the age of 7. And there was a rehabilitation center that opened up right after I graduated from high school. I entered a PT program for a physical therapist. The doctors that owned the facility asked if I'd be interested in on-the-job training, and I got certified as an exercise therapist while I was going to school. During that period, my mother and father, who are both diabetic, became very ill, and they were living here in Nebraska. And so my wife and I decided to move here and take care of them. They got better. Because I worked in a rehab facility, I was able to help them get back on their feet, help them manage their diabetes, get them to quit smoking, and living healthy. And that was 20 years ago. I lost my father last year, unfortunately, but my mom's still alive and kicking it and having a good time. We get a call, we assess what type of call it is. We quickly have to determine what's needed. We get those departments out. We are also emergency medical dispatchers that are certified to give medical information over the phone. So we can do first aid and CPR over the phone, instruct on Heimlich maneuvers and so on, to assist them before any first responders arrive on the scene. It's a good feeling when a mother calls you screaming so loud and uncontrollably that you can't understand her, but you can tell something's wrong and it ends up being a child choking, and you can actually get them to dislodge and start breathing again. Those things are very gratifying. I like the job. Every day is a different day. You never know what you're gonna get. Some days are very bad and you can have multiple fatalities in one day from accidents, or you get someone that you're trying to save via the phone and you can't. Some days there are good days when you're saving someone, or you're helping someone, or you're protecting someone. So I think just not knowing what you're going to walk into and the spontaneity of things, it really keeps me motivated to come to work. But there are some who take their work home and it affects them physically and mentally, and it's draining. And a lot of the information, or a lot of the topics that we deal with are very confidential. I mean, you can't even share it with your family. So it's hard when you got no one else but your coworkers to talk to. There was an incident where a female party was driving through on the highway, and she, for some unknown reason, veered off the road and hit a light pole. And it totally engulfed her vehicle in flames. And I got a call from a Hispanic male party who spoke very little English to none. And I could hear in his voice was, she's burning. And by the time the deputies and the responders showed up on scene, it was completely engulfed and burnt out. There was no trace of her but what was left after the burn was done. And that's something that, that was over 10 years ago, but I can still to this day hear him, and it still gets me because it was too hot for him to even try to get close, and you can hear it in him. And it even broke the barrier of language. You could just feel it on the call. So that's something, that we take home. It's hard, and especially when we know who the person is too. A lot of that affects us. There was a male party who got into an accident and rolled over into a ditch in the middle of winter, and his phone only pinged at this tower. And so everybody had to focus in that whole vast area to figure out where this person was coming from. So it took a bunch of dispatchers to figure out where the car was plated from, where he would have been traveling, and then for the officers to know the layout really well and to kind of get the description from us of where this is at. And we ended up finding this guy who was already going into shock because of being out in the cold and was injured, but he survived. But we were able to all work together and save this man. We are actually the first responders because we are there working to save your life before anybody else gets to you. But we don't mind being in the back. Random people out in the public call you and say, hey, thank you. And then of course during the holidays we get tons of deliveries. Food, treats, full pizzas, beef and cheese trays, big ones, I mean tons. And so those are the good times, The sheriff's office started a Stuff the Cruiser campaign for the first time in December, where they had people stuff any kind of brand new coats and clothing for kids and brand new toys. And then they went to all the schools in the county and checked to see who would benefit more or what families would benefit from it. And then on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, they delivered these packages all over the county. But you know, the community spends a lot or donates a lot, not only in money but time to assist with it. And we all get involved. Fremont has amazing law enforcement that not only protect the community, but they sincerely care about the community. And they're constantly thinking of ways to pay back. You know, if you want to become a dispatcher, you're going to have an even temper, keeled temper. You have to really know how to control yourself, because there are people that you will come across that push every single button and buttons you never knew you had. And you have to remain calm. You have to be very accurate because you don't have room for error. Want to help. And I think from there you can pick up things little by little until you become as good as I am.